Let's go over the trades I took this week. This week we took two trades. We had a little bit over a 1-to-1 and then a loss, so we're pretty much break even this week. Our first trade of the week was USD CAD. Let's go over the trend. So on USD CAD, the weekly time frame is bullish. On the daily time frame, I counted this as bearish. This was our lower high and this was our lower low. I didn't count this as structure. I didn't count that as structure. I just counted this as structure. And on the 4-hour, we were bearish. We had shifted structure right here. So this was our lower high and this was our lower low. On USD CAD, we had a area of interest on the 4-hour. As you can see on the 4-hour, we had resistance, support, 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 resistance, 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 support, and so on. Once I saw that we were going above here, I was like, all right, we're not interested in this trade anymore. But then we shifted structure and then we retested the area of interest with this EMA and also round psychological level. $1.453,500. So that was around psychological level as well. It was an added confluence. So then we created this left head right shoulders pattern, and I waited for the break of the neckline and the retest to get in. I was going to get an entry on this on the right shoulder, but it wouldn't have been a confirmed left head right shoulder because we wouldn't have broken the neckline. So when we had the left head right shoulder, we broke the neckline and then we retested and we got a bearish engulfing on the 15-minute right about here. This was our entry signal. We got in a little bit above on this next candlestick. It had a little push up. Then on the daily time frame, I'm like, okay, we could potentially reach all the way down here, which is a 1 to 2.8. But I realized we took this trade on a 4-hour area of interest, and when we take a trade on the 4-hour area of interest, we have to take 4-hour take profits. So then I realized that about right here, we had an area of interest on the 4-hour that we could potentially see a rejection from. So then I decided to get out right here, which was perfect because we would have been stopped out. So that's a nice key. You could take a trade on the daily area of interest and you have to take daily take profits and daily stop losses. I would have normally put my stop loss a little bit shorter. So like 5 pips above this wick. So 31, we'll put 36. And it would have been a 1 to 2. So what we could have done better in this trade is set our stop loss a little bit tighter. And at the time it was a 4-hour area of interest trade, so we had to take 4-hour take profit levels. If I had my stop loss shorter, we would have hit a 1 to 2, but it's fine. The next trade for the week is GBP NZD. We took a loss here. Let's go over it. On the weekly time frame, we were bullish. This was our higher low and this was our higher high. On the daily time frame, we were bullish. Then we had shifted structure to then bearish. On the 4-hour, we were bearish. This was our lower high. This is our lower low, this range. And then we had a 4-hour area of interest. We had resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, and then a potential resistance. So what I saw here is that we had shifted structure. So we had the daily and the 4-hour in sync. We were both bearish. And then I was waiting for a retest on this 4-hour area of interest with this EMA. And you could also add in round psychological level 2.25 thousand. So you could add that in as another confirmation. So then I came down to the 1 hour and we saw this left head, right shoulder. I took the trade on the right shoulder. You could see the left head and right shoulder more clear on the lower time frame on the 30-minute. See, left head, right shoulder. I entered on this trade on this 30-minute bearish engulfing right here. You can see we engulfed the last 4 candlesticks right here, and I got in right there, set my stop loss above. So we stepped our stop loss a little bit tighter because our last trade was way too big and it was a 4-hour area of interest trade. So we made sure our stop loss was a little bit shorter. Our first take profit was here at a 1 to 2 at this structure to create a new lower low. But if we closed under this structure and made a new lower low, I would have potentially held to about this structure right about here. So for a 1 to 3, so shifted structure, bearish, retest the 4-hour area of interest with the EMA to potentially create a new lower low. But we were wrong. This is why risk management is key. Risking 1% of the account and setting a stop loss to minimize our losses. So if we're wrong, we take a minimal loss that we have already calculated. Those are the 2 trades we took this week. Make sure you guys watch the next video after this. Will be my top pairs for the week. I'll just show you one real quick that I'm very interested in, that I have been waiting for a while. So this trade that we were going over ended up playing out and giving us a 1 to 12 risk to reward. The only thing is we actually didn't take it. I was in another trade and I was being selective on this one, so I wouldn't add more risk on for the week. And it was creating a left head, right shoulder, and it gave us an entry on the right shoulder, but I was being more conservative and I was waiting for a break of the neckline to retest it. It never retested, it just went straight down. Super nice trade, and the trade that I was in first ended up stopping us out. So yeah, there'll be trades that you like better than others, and sometimes the one that you don't pick ends up playing out, and it is what it is. That's trading. So I'll go ahead and show you one of the pairs that I'm very interested in this next week. This is AUD NZD. We had shifted structure. We created a new lower low, and then I wanted for price to reach this area of interest to then sell ever since we broke here. So when it broke right here, I was waiting for a retest here, waiting for a retest, and we finally got it after a week and a half of waiting. And this week we saw this right here, and I was about to get in, and then I saw that it was Thursday, and I didn't think it was gonna make the move of this potential next lower low to this level in one day. And I also anticipated for a price on the weekly time frame to close up there, because if we had made a new lower low, this weekly candlestick would have had a nice wick and a body down, and that didn't look right. I anticipated for the weekly time frame to look like this, and then a pullback into this level, as you can see, is also a nice area of interest. Nice area of interest even from back here. Put that tighter. That is a nice area of interest that we are in on the weekly. We could even see a potential doji here and then the push next week, but I'll be looking for price on the daily time frame to close in here. It's having a nice rejection of the EMA and looking for a shift of structure on the 1 hour 30-minute. So yeah, this is one of my top trades. I have more on the next video I'll be making of the rest of the top pairs that I'm interested for this week. So the Discord will be up by the end of this month, April. It will be done and we'll be in there for free, obviously for free. And I'll be giving you guys free value. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.